We are rolling along the Friday edition, Drew and KB, Snowmageddon edition of Drew and KB. I'm from Stately Olson Manor. KB is at Castle Brandt. Hunter's holding it down in the Iron Jock Studios. And joining us now, our pal Aaron Nagler of CheeseheadTV.com, brought to us by Miller Lite, Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference, and Rogers Behavioral Health. Happy Friday, Nags.
Happy Friday, gentlemen. Look at you guys at home. Oh, what is that you have in your hand there, sir?
Oh, that would be a Carry the G Cream Ale. 16 ounces.
Very nice.
It is, doctors recommend this during snow events.
So wait a second. First of all, let me get this straight. You guys get to roll out of bed and do your show from home during the snowstorm, but y'all made Hunter get out the Wildcat and get into the studio? Is that how that works?
Here I am.
Look at you.
Yes, indeed. He's the only essential employee. He can do the show without us.
Yes. Clearly.
Probably.
I'm very clearly.
So, all right.
Well, we've got our FEMA cards, but it's days like these that when, we kind of hide it so we don't have to go out.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yes. What's the weather on the East Coast? You guys are bracing for this. You get our weather a day later anyway.
Are we? No. It's like 50 degrees here. It's so boring. I hate it.
Really?
I want it to be cold. I want the snow. Well, I'm not enjoying this at all.
Okay, so
do you want it to be Kansas City cold?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Come on.
Where do you stand on that? And Buffalo.
When did we get so soft?
Okay, but they're soft and then they're soft, right? I mean, it's not just the teams and everything, like fans and people who work the scoreboard and all that stuff. It's going to be very hard to get people to that stadium in Buffalo.
Man, all I know is my grandmother wore her Sunday finest, including a silk blouse underneath her camel hair coat, to the Ice Bowl. And she lived to the ripe old age of 80-something. So I don't want to hear oh, it's cold. I don't.
They did a lot more common labor.
Football is played in the cold. That's the whole point.
We're soft. All right, Nags. This game coming up on we don't have to worry about the climate in Dallas at all.
No,
right?
No, you don't.
I remember a bad ice storm crippling Dallas the week of the Super Bowl that the Packers won there.
Very famously. Corey has told me stories about the bus sliding out of control on the way to the
God.
stadium.
Buses and it was almost impossible to get around. They had no snow removal equipment, no salters, no sand, nothing.
Naturally.
It was
right.
It was awful. But Nags, I have to take you through the arc that I've had on this game. When I heard the draw, when we heard on Sunday at the end of the Bears game, Billy and I, it's like, okay, 3:30 Cowboys. I was like, ooh, that's going to be tough. Then as the week went on, I convinced myself more and more the Packers can be competitive.
Talk yourself into it. I love it.
Right. And then I started to come back around to, I don't know, the Cowboys are really good, man. Yeah. How are they going to win? And so now I'm kind of on the fence. I'm almost neutral again as to whether the Packers I just have to wait and see, but I can't wait. And intellectually, I'm just trying to figure out what a Packers victory looks like. So I figured you're the perfect guy to talk to today about that.
No, God help us.
No,
I'm they're going to go down. I'm going to go down. I'm all in the mindset of they're going to go down there and shock the world. I don't expect, much of this game to go to whatever anyone is expecting. The wild card round has been very, very unpredictable. I mean, I know no 7th seed has won a game since its inception. However, it is Mike McCarthy we're talking about here. And if there's anyone who can pucker up in a big moment and screw up the clock or give you a chance, it's Mike McCarthy. And I say that with nothing but love, but we know it's true.
That was my hot take on Wednesday, is the Packers squeak out a victory due to poor clock management by the Cowboys at the end.
Entirely possible, right? But that's the kind of thing where I think everybody understands what type of game it's going to be, right? The Packers, I suspect, will try to run early and often with Aaron Jones. They've been very successful every time they've faced the Cowboys with Aaron Jones. But last year, in particular, against this defense, they ran both Jones and Dillon repeatedly at this pass rush. I think that's the way forward for the Packers. And on the flip side, I don't think anyone's expecting Joe Barry and company to go down there and really contain or slow down in any meaningful way the Cowboys offense. Now, can the Packers get a tip drill interception type thing where they had that happen a couple weeks ago against the Vikings, right? Can they maybe produce a surprise onside, steal a possession, something go their way, a big return? Keyshawn Nixon just named your first team all-pro kick returner, right? Something breaks the Packers' way. I think they got better than a puncher's chance in this game, but it is going to be tough. There is no doubt. This is a hard task for Matt LaFleur's company.
Not much margin for error, but you triggered something with me here.
Oh boy, here we go.
A tip drill interception. Well, we don't know Jair status. He's going to be right up to game time. Matt LaFleur. It's not gamesmanship. They just don't know. Okay.
Right.
All
okay.
Right.
Sure.
They're better off if he plays, obviously, with CeeDee Lamb.
Correct.
But the Packers have this season 7 interceptions.
Yeah, minimal amount. Let's put it that way.
That's criminal.
Not a lot.
Well, you'd have to be close to the receiver.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing.
That's the thing. Forget about interceptions. How many pass breakups do they have? That's pretty minimal as well.
Pretty minimal as well. But
no one
KB's
is
point, you have to be near the receiver.
To jump a route.
See,
no one is close enough to jump a route.
And now Jordan Love, much like his predecessor, pretty stingy with interceptions, at least of late, right? 11's not bad for a whole season with the amount of pass attempts he has.
Not at all.
But the Packers have 7 interceptions as a team.
Yes,
Deron Bland of the Cowboys has 9, 5 of which he took to the house.
Yep, I totally get it.
5 touchdowns off
Here's the thing.
That's unbelievable.
I
you
very
know what
much
this means, though.
I very much trust Matt LaFleur to come up with a game plan that at least mitigates that somewhat, and not ask Jordan Love to put the ball in harm's way. Some of these deep outs that they've been successful with over the course of the last couple of weeks, I think we'll see them maybe not stricken from the game plan, but I think you'll see a lot less.
Well, and 6 of those interceptions by Bland came at home, where the Cowboys are 8-0 and play their best ball.
No doubt. Although I will point out, like, you can run at him. You can run at them on the edge. I mean, I would just, like I said earlier, be as physical as you can in that run game. Get Aaron Jones the ball early and often, and attack not just their pass rush, but attack their corners on the perimeter. Get them beaten up. Get them, second guessing themselves a little bit. I mean, I think Detroit did that a pretty good job of that in their game a couple weeks ago. I understand. Yes, 1,000%. Very tough defense, especially when you're trying to throw the ball. That's why I don't think it's ever been more important this season for the Packers to stay ahead of the sticks. You got to be in 2nd and 4 or something like that rather than 2nd and 8 against this team, or they will feast. No doubt about it.
Well, and the Packers, though, have never lost an AT&T Stadium.
That is correct, sir.
So something is going to give on this. Something is going to give. Now, I will say this, and, call me, I'm looking at it probably through green and gold colored glasses, but so far, Jordan Love has outperformed both Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers in their first season as starters. Okay.
Right.
And he has been improving and surprising us, and he will outperform them again in the first playoff game.
Ooh, big call right there. Big call.
And now, and that is not to say that he will be better in the long run. I'm just saying that he's on a pretty good trajectory. And this year has been an absolute dream for us because no one was expecting it to be this fun. And even if they,
no doubt.
And even if they do lose, I think the majority of Packers fans will leave that game, yes, disappointed, but more excited for what's to come next year.
They got the start of something.
I think we will.
No doubt.
Right, because it's like, oh, God, Rodgers there, we lost it. It'll be, man, we didn't expect to get there. I can't wait till August.
It is about kind of setting your expectations, right? I mean, Corey and I talked about this on Packer Transplants last night. The idea that rather than the bitter ending of a season where yet again you've come up short and you keep trying desperately to get back to the Super Bowl, we are at the beginning of hopefully another window of contention. And yeah, I mean, the fact that I remember you, KB, a couple months ago saying, last summer we were all like, oh, it's just going to be great to have something new and we don't know what to expect. And then halfway through the year, you said, I'd like to take that back. But now you're back.
Yes,
you're back on the roll of like, I'm excited again. And like that's expected with such a young team.
Well, yeah.
All the mistakes we saw early. But yes, you're right. Like now it's like, I've heard this phrase a million times this week, but it's true. They're playing with house money. Let's go down there and win the game.
Let's go.
Here's the other thing is that they can't, the Packers, they can't take away championships, right?
Nope.
They can't take away stats. They can't take away Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Bart Starr. No one can. But Saturday night, the Green Bay Packers may lose their right to the coldest football game ever on record. How devastating will that be to you?
I don't know if it'd be devastating, but I'd be disappointed, right? I mean, the fact that the Ice Bowl is so iconic and held in such regard historically when it comes to the NFL, I just hope it's a game worthy of taking away that title. You know what I mean? I don't mind fine records made to be broken. It's going to happen, right? Eventually at some point. But man, if it's like some devoid of drama contest, then then I'll be disappointed. But I don't really mind it too much.
I think it's one of those things where it's always going to be our record. So if to Nags, I said to you, home run single season record, what number do you throw at me?
Oh,
baseball.
I haven't looked
61
at stats in ages. I don't know what I'm at is Gorman Thomas. That's where I'm at in my life. Like I'm remembering Gorman Thomas being in the running for the batting title.
61 is always the number. Yeah. It's 73, but everyone looks at 61 as the benchmark. So the Packers will always hold that.
There you go.
I think 20 years from now, no, because of just the whole story, the romanticism.
All right, Nags. It could end up being Joe Barry's last game. It could be his finest hour. Depends on how they play. Now,
did you just go Apollo 13 on me? I like it.
They did.
I'm all in.
Finest hour. I'm giving him a chance, but he's on double secret probation, as we know, and likely going to be gone.
I don't think there's anything secret about it, but yeah.
But okay. But Justin Jefferson and DJ Moore didn't wreak havoc, right? CeeDee Lamb is an elite wide receiver who capable of wreaking havoc, but I'm old enough to remember when Mike Evans didn't wreak havoc, but Chris Godwin did.
Yep.
Brandon Cooks is the guy that's scaring me in this game as much, if not more than
for good reason. He is very talented, and he's lost kind of in the shadow of the season Lamb has had, but no question about it.
And so you can stop the big guy and then the other guy kills you. And then you look at the other side. And this is where Matt's quote about they got Pro Bowl players littered on the field or whatever, that cracked me up. So it's like, okay, Micah Parsons is the dude. Micah Parsons is the guy that you got a game plan for. 14 sacks, right? But the law firm of Armstrong, Williams, Fowler, Lawrence, those are all dudes too.
They are. They are.
Like those guys are scary too. So
I will say
on the big guy, and then the other guy.
I gotta tell you, I am not worried about the Packers offense in that building against that defense. I understand they're very good. They are very talented, but I really think LaFleur, Love, and company are in a groove right now where they know how to attack things. They know what they're good at, and they know what the opponent is trying to do. You flip it around, man. You talk about the defense, and yes, Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore didn't exactly light it up, but they also had like Jaron Hall, Nick Mullins, and Justin Fields, the NFL's best running back, throwing them the football. So it's a very, very different story when you're down there and they're building with Dak Prescott, who has played outstanding football this season. Yeah, man, this is 100% going to be, I don't even think, regardless of whether Jair plays or not, you're going to see a ton of like cover 6, cover 3, cover 2. They're going to have everything in front of them. They're going to try and rally and tackle. It's going to come down to, can they keep them out of the end zone in the red zone? That's 100% how I expect it to go.
That, so like the yards after catch thing's going to be big. And it's the backbreaking thing that we've seen all year. The Packers like, hey, they're 3rd and 14. Here's a 16-yard pass completion.
That's who they are. That is 100% who they are. Or you get a sack on first down and you're all excited. And now it's 2nd and 15 and you give up a first down. That is 100% who they are. So that's what I mean when I talk about the Cowboys offense is as legit as anything they've faced this year. I know they've had some success against the Chiefs and the Lions, what have you. This is their toughest opponent in that regard. And again, I suspect, the Cowboys are going to get theirs. It's just a question of, can you limit them a few times in the red zone to give your offense a shot to keep up and get ahead?
And don't muff any punts. Don't miss any extra points.
Well, that's good. That's what I was talking about earlier, right? You need things, A, to go your way, but B, don't hand them anything. Absolutely. I mean, that can't happen.
All right. Any thoughts on the rest of the league stuff going on, like Gerard Mayo and any of that stuff?
I will say I'm impressed that the Patriots had that locked up and locked in. They had literally a succession contract where they didn't have to apply. They didn't have to go out and do any sham interviews for the Rooney Rule, not only because Mayo obviously qualifies, but they had it baked into the contract. So they knew when it was time to move on. The league knew that this would be completely above board and an easy switch. I got to admit, I'm pretty impressed by that. I think they did a very good job of not only having that in place, but keeping it quiet. The fact that never kind of leaked out is pretty damn impressive.
That is pretty cool. Nags, let's have a weekend, man. It's going to be fun watching all the football, especially 3:30 on Sunday. Carry the G, my brother.
Carry the G. Speaking of which, you had
Thanks,
that can
Nags.
in your hand. You had that can. Don't get out there and get the last batches are flying off the shelf. So get yourself some Carry the G this weekend.
Get it right now. Thanks,
Thanks a lot,
Nags.
gentlemen.
Aaron
Bye,
Nagler
Nags.
brought to us on the show by Miller Lite, Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.